Hello, we are on section 5.2, mean, median, and mode. This is usually one of the ones that students like because they're like, we've done this before, so it's familiar to you. So mean is just finding the average given a group of numbers, and so we just add them together and divide to get an average. The median is the center of your data, so we put them in order and then find the center number. And then mode is just the value that occurs most often. So the main thing here is not getting them mixed up so that if you're asked to find the mean, that's the one you're finding, or the median or the mode. So you just have to be careful with that. So here's the information that tells you how to find the mean. We find the sum. We add up all the parts, right? The sum of all the values, and then we divide by how many there were, the number of values. So let's take a look at these two examples. Also notice it says to round to the nearest hundredth. So whenever you're rounding, you need to pay attention to that part. So basically we find a total, right? What's the total of these numbers that we have here? So we've got 7 plus 8 plus 6 plus 10 plus 12 plus 6 plus 5. And then we're going to divide that by the number of values that we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And so when we add these up, you'll see that we get 54. And we divide that then by 7. And that gives us 7.714. And then we round, okay? So when we round, this just means approximately because we're rounding. Actually, I probably rounded that first number, so we'll just say equals. And it's going to be 7.71 rounded to the hundredths place. On the next one, we have not as many values, right? We say 55, 83, 66, 92, 108, 93, and then we're going to divide by 3, right? So when we add these up, we get 231, 68. Don't forget to pause if needed, right? So that you can calculate things on your own and then come back to see what I have for an answer. And so we get 77 point, mess it up, 0.226, and that rounds to 77.23. And let's label that with a dollar symbol because we were dealing with dollar amounts there. All right, so that's finding the mean. And then we take that to a little bit more complicated type mean. Now we did some frequency tables on the previous lesson. And so on this one, it's telling us the frequency of something. So we're going to find the weighted mean based on the fact that we're going to talk about more than just this value and that one and so on. In this case, we're going to find we have a value of 4 8 times, right? So we're going to multiply to get the product on each one of these. And then we're going to use this, right? The sum of the products over the sum of the frequencies. So the sum of the frequencies would be this. The sum of the product, I've already got the line drawn. We're going to find that. And then it's just a simple division. But you do have to know how to get there, right? And so if we add up our frequencies, we get 22, and if we add up the product that we found, that's 90. So to find the weighted mean, which is still a mean, but it's just got a little bit more going on, we divide the 90 by the 22, and that happens to be 4.09. Now the 0.9 is actually a repeating number. This time we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so that will be 4.1. Okay, so that's one example of weighted mean. And then we're going to take it to my favorite weighted mean type problem, and that's grade point average. Everyone should understand grade point average because you guys are in college and you're going to be doing different things, and you'll need to know your GPA. Now, obviously, you don't have to figure it on your own because it's going to show up on your degree audit. It shows you your GPA, or on your transcript, it will show your GPA, but it's good to know where that's coming from, right? So the weighted mean still works the same for your grade point average. So basically what happens is you get a different weight for each grade. Like A's are worth more than B's, and B's are worth more than C's, and so on. So you can see 1 credit hour for anything with GPA is worth points, basically, right? So 1 credit hour of an A is 4, and a B is 3, and a C is 2, and a D is 1, and an F is 0. And so you can see that if you get a D or an F in something, that's really going to affect your grade point average. Now the credits happen to be the frequencies, right? So this is the sum of my frequencies when I add up my number of credit hours. I can't draw a straight line here. And so when I add up my credits, that's 15. So this is the frequencies, the sum of frequencies right there. And then we have to calculate to get a product, right? Because we need the sum of products. So for a B, we're going to take 3 credit hours times 3 because the B's were 3, right? So for that one, we'll get 9. And if we make a C, we're going to take our number of credit hours times the value of a C per credit hour. And then that's going to be a total of 8 for that. 3 credit hours of a D, each credit hour is worth 1, right? That's the weight for a D. And then we have 3 credit hours of an A, and that's worth 4 per credit hour, so that would give me 12. I didn't line that up very good. And then last we have a 2 credit hour B, so that's going to be times 3 because that's what B's are worth. And so we get 6 on that. We add those up, right? So add up all the basically the weights that you just found for your number of credit hours, and we get 38. So our GPA is going to be 38 divided by 15, and that was a 2.53, and the 3's repeating. Now it tells us on this one, let's round this to the nearest tenth, right? So that's going to be a 2.5 GPA. Okay. And then down here, I just want to show you what happens if you had made an A for these two classes, right? The digital technology and digital literacy and chemistry, if those had been A's. And so let's take the ones that we're not replacing. So business math, we had a 9. And then we had baking and navigating college, but we're going to replace, right? For chemistry, it was 4 credit hours. And now we're making an A. So we're going to put that number in. And then for technology, we made an A for 3 credit hours. And so that's also times 4. And then we're still going to divide this by 15, right? Okay, so that was a 16 and that's a 12. So when we add these up this time, we're going to have a total of 55 and divide that by 15. That turns out to be a 3.6, right? We put the bar over that. The 6 is repeating, and that rounds to 3.7 for the GPA on that. So you can see how much a difference that makes, making those A's versus a D and a C that we made initially on that. And so I'm going to put a circle that works here. There we go. All right, so that is finding a weighted mean for GPA. Okay. I think this is a good place to stop the video, and then I'll finish with the rest of the lesson. So I'm going to stop now. So I'm going to, so I'm going to stop now, and then I just push. Anyway, I'm going to stop the video and then pick it up on the next video. All right.